Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use, tips a balance in favor of fair use. Okay, this is from the Telegraph. Celebrity florist may have accidentally drowned daughter then killed herself. She was a Scientologist. I don't know if she's still around, but that's what it is. A celebrity florist may have accidentally drowned her 9-year-old disabled daughter. Come on, you guys. As she tried to heal her in the bath before killing herself, an inquest heard. Okay, that answers the question. By Richard Seville, dated 9 December 2009. Judith Richmond, 41, who was suffering from bipolar disorder, also known as manic depression. Unless that's on record, I don't know how they could say that, right? Had become obsessed with Scientology and a belief that metal was poisoning her daughter, Millie, and the whole planet. Not like she got that idea all by herself now, is it? Mrs. Richmond, who had provided flowers for the late Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and the rock band Pink Floyd, believed her daughter's condition was due to metal poisoning and not to cerebral palsy. How many times have we heard stuff like this? In the days before the deaths, Mrs. Richmond had told friends, neighbors, and family that she was trying to get help from celebrities, including Simon Cowell and the motor racing champion, David Coulthard. The Gloucester coroner, Alan Crickmore, recorded a verdict that Millie died accidentally, possibly while her mother tried to give her an experimental healing bath and massage. Where have we heard that one before? The coroner recorded an open verdict on Mrs. Richmond. The bodies of Mrs. Richmond and her daughter were found by police divers in the lake outside their home in South Cerny, Gloss, on March 18 this year. So I don't know, there's something missing there, you guys. The coroner said he believed the most likely scenario was that Millie had somehow drowned while her mother bathed and massaged her with oils, and that Mrs. Richmond had gone into the lake with her daughter. At what point do you notice that your daughter's not breathing, right? Like something's not adding up. But if it was impossible to be sure whether Mrs. Richmond intended to take her own life in her mental state at the time, so he could not record a suicide verdict on her, he said. Isn't that interesting, you guys? So that means murder might still be a possibility. The coroner said it has not been possible to determine whether Millie died in the bath or the lake. The most obvious... Come on, really? Something doesn't sound right here. The most obvious assumption is that in trying to assist Millie with one of the experimental treatments, by massaging her with oils in the bath, somehow Millie drowned and was carried to the lake by her mother. Wouldn't she be pretty heavy to carry? She's 12 years old, I think. Who perhaps realized the enormity of the accident. No shit. Which had just occurred and took her own life. A man would be very easily to carry a child that size. I know me, I'm 5'8", maybe 175 pounds. I'd have a hard time carrying a child that big. He added, I think whatever happened there is no evidence to suggest anything other. Really? Ching, ching, ching. Than an accidental death in relation to Millie. The inquest in Cirencester had been told that Mrs. Richmond and Millie returned to Britain from New Zealand 2 weeks before their death. Oh, more New Zealand-Australia connections. They had been with Mrs. Richmond's husband, Nick, a city trader who was keen to emigrate to New Zealand, but she had changed her mind about staying there and had returned to Britain without him. No mention of Scientology. I got this from a Scientology site called the Apollo series, so I think they would know if she was a Scientologist. So, it's my opinion, and it is alleged at this point. Otherwise, I will leave the link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.